Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1131A, and today's date is November 18th, 2016, and the title of the episode is, The Central Bankers Make the Economy Look Great Right Before the System Crashes. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, we are in the end stages of Obama's presidency, and what the central bankers and what they have planned is to keep this economy looking absolutely fantastic. They want the stock market to stay at all-time highs, precious metals to be way down. The unemployment rate is at 4.9%. We see that they're pushing the idea that GDP is bouncing back now. And what they do is they set all of this up for the great fall, for the great collapse. And what we're seeing is that corporations right now, they're laying off more and more employees. It's not like 100 here or 200 there. We're talking thousands of people. Think about it. Volkswagen right now, they're going to be laying off 30,000 people by 2020. Well, we're coming up on 2017 now, so that's 3 years. That's 10,000 people a year. That's a lot of people. Pennsylvania Labor Industry Department, they're going to be laying off 600 employees. And when we look past and look at 2016, we see there were a lot of individuals laid off. And we have to remember something very important here. For all those stores that are closing and they have all these part-time workers, we have to remember how they count them. Because when they're laid off and they're removed from their positions, they're not counted as a layoff. Now, of course, they look at their number of hours that they work and they look at how much they get paid. And if it's under, I think, 30 hours or so, every state is different. They don't count them as a layoff. So they can't collect what? Unemployment. But when they get hired as a part-time, they're counted as a full-time employee. So you can see how the double standard works here. And what we're seeing right now is this huge buildup of the economy. The central bankers' plan is to build this economy up and make it look like it is absolutely fine. This is why the Treasury Secretary, Jack Lew, was out there saying that Obama did a fantastic job. The economy has recovered. Unbelievable. We are out of the woods. This is a complete setup. We see right now, since Obama has been in office, well, he's added something like $10 trillion to the debt. It will hit $20 trillion most likely in January of 2017. He just hit a record-shattering $2.4 trillion of debt this year. I mean, this is unbelievable. We've added more debt than when the Federal Reserve came into power in 1913. In these last 8 years, we added more debt. And the numbers always look great right before a crash. It's quarterly report time for U.S. stocks. And if you just casually glance at the earnings news, you might think companies have had a great year. Many of them are beating expectations and reporting impressive revenues and profits. And the markets reward companies for meeting expectations. But the reality is that the S&P 500 is on track for the 6th straight drop in a year-over-year earnings. In 2015, estimates went from initial forecasts of $137 to barely $100 by the end of the year. That is a huge miss, over 30%. But that dive didn't dismay the analysts because they initially predicted roughly the same level of earnings for 2016. And as of September 30th, it looked as though the earnings are going to come in at roughly about $110. For 2017, earnings predictions started above 140 and now are down to 132. In a world where GDP growth may be in the neighborhood of about 2%, do you think it makes sense, or any type of sense, that earnings are going to grow by 20% in 2017? Absolutely not. This lie that they're continually throwing at us, This is an illusion. It's going to lead us to another 2008 event or a 1929 event or something much, much worse. And we can see right now that all of this is one giant illusion to keep everyone in the dark. And when these individuals talk about price to earnings ratios, the PE ratio being roughly 20 today, they are using operating earnings in their calculations. If they used reported earnings, they would find that the PE ratio is roughly 24, a 20% difference, and certainly up in nosebleed territory. Today's PE is 26.79. That is back up in 2007 range, and it was exceeded only in the year of 2000 and 1929. So we can see they're continually keeping this illusion great. They're keeping the numbers looking fantastic. And we know what happened during these years. Everything fell apart. We see Sweden is out there, and they're going to be looking to go all digital. They're going to change from paper currency to digital currency. Yes, I know they're mostly digital right now, but it looks like they're taking it to the next level. And in the next 2 years or so, what they want to do is they want to go completely all digital. And the digital currency is going to be called the krona. So we see already that the central banks are making their move to go all digital. And this will again spread to other countries because they want to get rid of cash. Remember, the system's coming down. And if they can speed this up and get everyone into digital currency, they don't have to worry about people taking their funds out of the banks. They can control it. They can use the bail-in documents. Now, Raoul Pal is warning that Trump is going to face a recession in 2017. I think he's going to face a complete and utter collapse of the system in 2017. He says, since 1910, the U.S. economy is either in a recession or enters a recession within 12 months in every single instance at the end of a 2-term presidency. And we can see right now we've been tracking the economy. We've been reporting on the economy. We know the economy is fake. We know it's an illusion. Many of the indicators are equal to or worse than 2008. He said he spent some time looking at U.S. recessions in general and found that every single one occurred during or just after an election without exception. Not every single election sees a recession, only every 2-term incumbent change. And in the last 100 years, the recession of 1979 is the only recession not to occur around the election date. So we can see right now that the central bankers, the shadow government, if they don't get their way, they're going to be very angry. And they're going to be pissed off. And they want Trump to look bad. We can see it throughout the corporate media right now. They're bashing him at every turn. Because right now, they really thought that Hillary was going to be elected. And they're continually keeping a lot of pressure on everything that he's doing. They're not letting up. We see George Soros is still having the protesters out there march in the streets because they want a divided country. And we know come next year, if he makes it through the inauguration and everything else, they will bring down this economy. Most likely what's going to happen is they'll start reporting on the economy, saying that things are not doing well. Since Trump has taken office, a month has gone by, some of his policies are not working well, and the economy's slipping a little bit. Another month might go by, they might say the economy's getting worse. They'll have, individuals that they're going to interview. They'll tell us that, we could be heading towards some type of recession. Looking at the data, we can see that things are starting to break down. All the things that we've been talking about all along, they're going to start bringing them up. And then eventually what will happen is the stock market will come down. And they'll say, see, Everything that he wanted to do with bringing factories back to the country, with taxes, his whole economic policy, it brought down the economy. But we know better. We understood. We looked at the information. We've been following it. We've been tracking it. We know exactly what they're up to. We know exactly what they're going to pull. And most likely, we can see we're heading down this path. And from this research of Raoul Pal, we can see right now that, well, we're heading towards a recession, which I believe is going to be a major, major collapse, because when we look at this data, it is absolutely awful. And we were hit in 2008. A lot of people lost their wealth. A lot of people lost their homes. A lot of people have never recovered with a full-time, equal-paying job. Many of these people have downsized, are working part-time jobs. Many people can't even find work, even though we're at 4.9% unemployment, which we know is completely fake. But we can see right now, when this next wave comes, it's going to hit all of those individuals that are working right now. And the people who got hit in the first wave, it's going to be worse for them. And the people who think that everything is fine, it's going to be absolutely awful. And those people that gone through this before, they might be expecting it. Maybe they realize something's wrong. Those people who have prepared, they'll make out. And we can see right now that you need to get ready for this, because we can see what is happening in this country. We can see that in a split second, everything can change. All those individuals that thought that Hillary was going to be president, well, everything just completely fell apart in a split second. That's all it takes, is a split second for everything to completely change. Where everyone is saying that, the economy's fine, everything's fine. Think about it in 2008. They've been telling us that everything was fine. In a split second, the world changed. And it's going to change again. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.